Hello and welcome to Into the Light. I'm your host, Edina Mauvana. Today we have Haji Basim. Haji is an award-winning musician. He's a devoted yogi and master of 11 instruments. He was born from personal struggle. His fusion of meditation and music became a lifeline and a revolution. So he was trained by sitar master Baba Krishna, and Haji now leads others to reclaim their voice, their breath, and their power through pure sound and sacred intention. Thank you so much for being here, Haji. It's so great to have you.
It's awesome to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. I just want to tell you because I originally started seeing your posts. I follow a lot of healers and practitioners with different modalities, sound healers, energy work, that kind of thing. And yeah, so I saw your, I think, videos on Facebook and all the work that you do with a lot of just different instruments. And I really loved how you just relate it to taking care of yourself or making ourselves do our creative endeavors in life and how that's a big part of the sort of healing journey.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just really love your work, and I'm so glad that you're here to talk to us a little bit more about it today.
awesome. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I was curious. I know you were trained, sounds like a lot of classical Indian instruments like the sitar. Can you tell me a little bit about your background and what kind of brought you into this modality? Obviously, Eastern Indian and different, they're probably very different from your original like cultural heritage, right?
Very much.
Yeah.
So I like to call it sound and surrender. It's been my life. When I was younger, my mother remarried. She got divorced and remarried a Southern Baptist pastor. So my father was an atheist, actually. So I grew up with those two dynamics.
Oh.
And so my mother would take us to church in the mornings. In the morning times, she would have a congregation that would be there, and the deacons would be standing in front of everyone, and they would sing from the Bible like a verse, like "I know love is real." And then the congregation, they would respond to the same, like a holy column response from their sadness, from their joy, from their faith, from their belief. And that for me was my first experience of sacredness and sound.
Yeah,
So
at the church, it's very like, especially in the Black community, you're always singing, a lot of music involved. So yeah,
very,
that's
very
a really
much so.
beautiful tradition.
We killed ourselves as a community with music, and we fortified our faith with music. At the time, I really wasn't into the religion. I was more so with my father, like the atheism, thinking things, but I couldn't help but feel the music. The music was amazing. Music was powerful. About fast forward about maybe 12 years later from that, I was in college and I was going through a bit of a depression. The girl I had fallen in love with thought that she was having my child, and went through the whole rigmarole preparing for the child. And the child wasn't mine. And I was devastated because at the time I thought that I was immortal. Like I had a child now, I had a baby. All my efforts would go towards this beautiful baby being brought up. And it wasn't mine. So it caused me to go into a bit of depression. I started to ask some very serious questions. But during that time, before I dropped out of college, the first time I was taking a world religions class, and it was talking about different religions of the world. And all I knew at the time was Christianity and atheism. But then I got shown Buddhism and Vaishnavism or Hinduism and things like that. And what I loved about Buddhism was that you can ask a Buddhist what they believe, but they couldn't tell you anything. Like they would, because it's all about your self-expression, your own ability to have that experience. So I really leaned into meditation. And from meditation, I came in contact in my depression to an open mic. And there was people that were doing open mics. And for those who don't know, open mics are where people go to that they aren't really good, but they go to harness their skills or whatnot, or just to perform and play. And on the back, there was a guy that was playing the guitar in the back patio. So I walked up to him, he's playing guitars by himself, and just sat next to him, and just felt really connected to his ability to play music. And as he finished, I asked him, how'd you learn how to play like this? Like he wasn't the best player, but you could tell he had a connection and he enjoyed it. And something about that really resonated with me. So he sat down and said, oh, his name was Jim. My name's Jim. And I traveled across the Sahara Desert last year. I'm from Arkansas. Traveled across the Sahara Desert last year, and I had a guitar with me to learn how to play because it came in company. And I love playing this thing. Yeehaw. He didn't say yeehaw, but I just added that in for the emphasis for the story. But Jim really inspired me to connect with my musicality. So I went and bought a guitar the next week, and I was still in my depression. And as you well know, men in this country, around the world, are told if we're feeling depressed to just stuff it down and man up and keep going. Don't express. And I find what's not expressed becomes depressed. So I started to play the instrument, and for the first time in my life, I had a outlet to express what was going on in my heart, the feelings. I never knew I could do that before as a man. Like I never knew I could express in that way, and it gave way to such a breakthrough of expression and flow.
And are you working with a lot of men who are breaking away from toxic masculinity programming? Like they're just becoming more aware that they want to find avenues of self-expression? Because I know even in one of your social media was like the man who's like resistant thinks this is all silly, and then oh, and then the one who's tuned in. So are you finding that there's a lot of masculine men who are maybe doing this work right now and finding music as the best outlet?
There are some, not many, not many. Majority of my clients are women,
Oh, okay.
very
Yeah.
honest with you. But from time to time, I'll pick up some brothers on the same wavelength and they'll join and they'll connect and create. I'm actually in talks with a psychologist or therapist in the UK that works specifically with men to doing some back and forth with some of her clients just because they're in a space now where they're trying to break through certain things and trying to become more of themselves and embody more of their creativity. So it's in
Yeah.
the processes, but I don't.
Yeah, not as well. That's maybe more sort of divine men coming into their masculine,
Exactly.
rather than from their toxic whatever toxicities that people carry. And like you said, it's a part of a healing journey. So I'm just curious, like for you, how has it been integration with your own spiritual practice? Because I know you mentioned your father was atheist, but then you have also some familiarity with Christianity. But do you feel like this has been a journey of your own connection to God in that way? Through music?
Yes, to answer your question, yeah.
Yeah.
After touring and or after connecting with the music, with the guitar, I started playing and connecting and really just getting out there and playing music. And I always would pray during that time that my music is used for a way to help and heal people. So
Mhm.
throughout my life, I've lived and practiced many different religions. Hinduism, I've lived in an ashram for 3 years. And one of the things I loved about Hinduism was the Hare Krishnas actually, was that
Uh-huh.
one of the principles was bhakti yoga. And in that bhakti yoga, we sang and we sang towards God. And it reminded me so much of the church that all of our efforts, our actions, our voice, our singing, our voices made to admonish and honor the source of where we came from. So just your voice is being a reminder of who you are is really simple yet beautiful medicine that anyone could take it anytime they want to.
Yeah, amazing. So who are you working with now that because I know you're teaching other people both instruments, and what sort of projects are you doing with your work right now that are most important and helping the most people?
Sure, there's a lot right now, but as of recently, I'm working with the Loop Station. I did a Loop Station retreat. Long story short, I was at the Body Spirit Festival and I was playing in 2017. I had my first show. I've been there like 3 or 4 times since then. But I was playing the Body Spirit Festival. I had a guitar, a ukulele, and I think a banjo. And that's what I was playing. And I got off stage and there was a guy coming on after me. His name was Elijah Ray. And I was like, oh, okay, what's he about to do? Just has a guitar, that's it. But he had a loop station up there with him. And when he started to loop and play, it sounded like he had an orchestra and a band, a choir with him. And I was like,
Yeah, so the loop station is just so you can be like a one-man show, right? You can add
yes,
all these layers of instrumentation
yeah,
and so one person can do it, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
went over afterwards and talked to him. He was just talking about the process. And I was like, this is amazing. So as you were saying, you can
Yeah.
loop your voice or your whatever, whatnot. So after that, I wound up getting one around COVID time. And when COVID happened, everything was shut down. So I bought a loop station and just made it a point to play the loop station every single day for 30 days and do a live every day. And I would learn, I gained a relationship with the instrument. So from that, I started creating courses for people to connect with the loop station. And I just recently did I call it a looping light virtual retreat, where it's a 3 day retreat where we do it virtually. And this instrument is used as a healing process. It's like you're able to
Mhm.
journal with your sound, and whatever you have inside of here is what comes up. And so that's the looping light. I also have a 5 week long course that goes through exactly how to use the instrument to make it very easy and simple. But I'm really passionate about this particular instrument because no other instrument do I have in my repertoire that it allows such self-authentic expression to come forth. No one can create. I have one prompt in one of my courses where I say, create a song that has inspired you and use that as a basis for inspiration for creating a loop. Half the times we can't even tell what that song is because it's their own authentic voice, their own authentic understanding of it. And then when you add elements of what would your inner child, what would you say to your child? What would you say to yourself when you were maybe 5 years old? Like, what advice would you tell that person? And then you create a loop about it. And it's so authentic, so healing. Yeah, it's an amazing instrument. So
Yeah,
that,
it's interesting. No one's is the same, right? You said something, it's each one is it's different for each person, right? And I love how you mentioned the healing of the inner child, or so is that really where you focus, like with the connection to the healing and the music as being like what we want to be communicating to our younger self? Is that what people are, where they really are tapping in emotionally with the music?
That's one aspect. I use a lot of different other methods to connect. That's one assignment to focus on
Mm,
the child, but there's other assignments too that really help people connect. And it's just creating a container of space for people to give themselves permission to explore parts of themselves they haven't before. And
mm.
that's really what I'm really good at, is creating containers for that in whatever instrument I'm playing. So you were asking before, I do the loop station, I have ukulele courses. I have a retreat in Atlanta on August 1st where I do, it's called the Holistic Ukulele Songwriter Retreat. And we for
Oh yeah,
three
I was going to ask if you do it in person too, because I know you said the pandemic and Zoom and you live internationally, but so you have one in person and
I,
oh, for the
I,
ukulele? Yeah.
I do several. I do one for ukulele, one for guitar, and just for people to come together and just really connect with their voice, connect with ukulele, connect with music theory, and how to turn their personal affirmations into songs. And I make it very simple and very easy. As though the majority of my courses are actually online, where I do 8 week long immersions, 6 month long immersions to really help people develop their ability to express themselves and find their true north when it comes to expression. Because a lot of my clients are coaches, so they
Oh
use
yeah.
the ukulele or the instrument or the looping station to become the beacon through their content. So people are drawn towards them, because that's an amazing way to get more people into your funnel, is by being who you are and expressing your authentic creative expression.
Yeah, I was going to ask because what are people doing once are you the other, are the musicians then creating other, are they coaching others or helping with the same kind of skills that you're teaching? I'm just curious, like what kind of results are your students seeing after they've done your courses and all of that and they started to really enhance these skills?
Sure. So as we all know, that creativity begets creativity. So when you start opening one door, other doors open. I have clients that have created albums, because I have courses that teach people how to create albums from their
Mm.
instruments, just all the steps so they become activated to be able to play or to create albums. I have them, they become facilitators. They start to lead people. They start to do one man shows or one woman
Yeah,
shows where they
with
use
the
a
looping station. Yeah.
exactly to express themselves. They use it in their sound healing practice when they're helping other clients and whatnot. I've
Mhm.
had yoga teachers that learn how to play the ukulele, that when they finish in Savasana,
Yeah.
they're playing a song they wrote that speaks to whatever they're trying to affirm at the moment. And what I recognize is that the songs that we're writing for ourselves are really for other people. So because of that, I created a community where we meet twice a month, and I create a space for these artists to share. Because if you're making a song and you're in your bathroom, in your closet, that's nice. The next evolution of an artist on a path is to be able to get feedback and to be witnessed. To be
Oh,
witnessed is so important. So I create a community of a safe space for people to gather together to feel good about sharing, because we're artists and we're sensitive about our stuff. So
yeah.
we don't always want to share because we're afraid of rejection. So I create a space that's anti-rejection, and you get to share and be more of who you are in your process. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, being authentic, and it's a very vulnerable thing, music and creativity and people sharing their poetry or their music. And yeah, and obviously, even when you start going into the healing of it and the real painful things that come up with musical expression. So yeah, I love the work that you do. I think it's amazing. And I want everyone to be aware of how much of an impact that the music can have and how much of a healing presence that it really can be, because I know you've dedicated your life to music and it's great to see so many more spaces where people can have the outlet to like get the abilities and get the resources and just become our most creative selves, because like you said, creativity kind of begets more creativity, so I love that.
Totally.
Yeah, yeah. So, Haji, where can folks find you best on your social media if they're interested in some of your retreats, your programs, or like you mentioned, I think you have one coming up in August. So, where's the best place to have people follow you who might be listening?
Sure. First would be my website at hajibasim.com. And then would be my Facebook page, which is Haji Basim Music. Also, the same thing for Instagram as Haji Basim Music.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's great. So we'll have all of those linked to our your social media on the episode, and we'll be sharing that. And any final thoughts or words of wisdom for people who might be listening, our audience who want to get maybe, I don't know, they don't necessarily are thinking that they're musical, but know that they want to tap into that more. What would you say for folks who are really want to maybe get their interest sparked in this direction?
That it's never too late to start. It's never too late to begin a journey. I've worked with clients that are 65 to even 70. 70 was the oldest.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
any age, right?
any age. And to honor that part of yourself is honoring something that's been put inside of you. And a lot of times we feel like we don't have we're not honoring something in our lives. It's because we're not doing it. And music is something to be done. And I make it very easy for the process. So just start.
Just start. We just got to take the first step and take action. And yeah, that's what snowballs the whole effect, hopefully, as we're on the journey. Thank you so much, Haji. I appreciate you having you here, and we'll be in touch. And I'm just glad that to help share your work and share it with the audience. Hopefully we can get the word out and just have an impact in all this area and all the areas with music.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for your
Thank
time.
you so much. Have a great day.